Muhammad, you have the best example. Now, when we study this particular verse, the best example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who revealed all the other prophets and messengers. He did not say that Adam is the best example, even though he is the first one. He did not say that Moses is the best example. But he find it fit to put in the Quran that Muhammad is indeed the best example for those who believe in Allah, those who believe in the hereafter, and those who remembers Allah a lot. So when you look at the Quran now, we investigate the Quran, looking, in the sense of studying, not just reading, investigating, searching the Quran. Because non-Muslims have come to the conclusion that the Quran is the ever-living book. There is nothing like the Quran. If Muhammad was to be the author of the Quran, he will win all the Nobel Prizes in all fields of science, even though he didn't have chance to go to school, like the scientists we have today are doing. They spend millions and years studying one particular things, and then because of that they will tell you he won the Nobel Prize. But Prophet Muhammad in all the fields of science, you look at what is the established fact of science today and what he has told the people through his Sunnah, not even the Quran. Compare these two things, you will know that actually it's confirming the statement in the Quran, he is the best man who ever lived. As the brother said earlier, he could make mistake, but not in relation to faith. It's in relation to normal dealings with people. As he mentioned the example, he's talking to somebody interrupt him, he get angry. This is normal. But in relation to faith, that is to direct the people toward the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He never made any mistake on that, and if he made a mistake, Allah corrected it and showed it to the people that it was a mistake and how to correct it.
I also want to add something, if you don't mind, regarding the example. Yeah, when it comes to the example that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us to follow, we will find no one fits as Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to be followed. And I'll give you proof. If we want to follow a role model in our modern life, we have the youth, especially. If David Beckham come up with a new haircut style, we'll find the youth following him immediately. Amitabh Bachchan in India, or whoever, the celebrities are, so we follow him. But for Muslims, we only look at the life of the Prophet ﷺ. What did he do here? How did he eat? How did he walk? What he used to dress, what colors? To such an extent, like the brother, he was actually going very well in explaining about the head of the states. Can you ask Bush? I have seen in the library very thick book, like that thick. You cannot even hold it with one hand. Hold it with one hand. It's very thick, about the life of Bush, George W. Bush. I was hoping to find in that very big book how George W. Bush used to go to the toilet. Yes, I want to know how George W. Bush used to behave inside the toilet. Yeah, because we know our Prophet how he used to behave in the toilet. And we imitate him in that fashion, in that same fashion. We know with which hand he used to clean himself, with which hand he used to eat, how he used to behave with his wives. Now you cannot find anybody in the entire history who is open book like the Prophet Muhammad. He used to tell us how he treated his wives in the bed, but he told us not to tell anybody about what you're doing or how you're treating your wife or how your guys, your private life. Don't relate it to anybody. But he himself, because he's an example to mankind, he made even this private life open to everyone. He was poor and rich. He was king, and he was also, treated miserably by the people of Mecca. in every aspect of life, you will find the Prophet Muhammad there to teach you something. So he was a father, grandfather, and he was single. He married more than one wife. Now, if I wanted to follow Jesus Christ, peace be upon him, as a father, how am I going to follow him? How am I going to follow the example of Jesus Christ as a father, as a grandfather, as a husband? How? Can you tell me, Lincoln? There is nothing to learn from Jesus in this area, because simply he did not get married. He didn't marry anybody. And of course, naturally, you don't have children. So you cannot know how to behave or how to behave with your children using the example of Jesus Christ. No way. But Muhammad is everywhere. In every aspect of life you will find the Prophet Muhammad. I hope this is clear.
Next question, please. We have 10 minutes to go, and then we have to wind up the session. And for the next session, next program is already booked. So please.
One of his question,
What was that?
that is that if you find anything which contradicts, then what shall we do?
Contradicts what?
Contradicts the teaching of Muhammad, then what shall we do?
We find
Can we?
contradiction in his teaching.
Yes.
This categorically.
That's what he also say, if he finds something.
This was part of your question, Lincoln?
Yeah,
If
That
you
is
find
the main
a
point.
contradiction in the
Which
teaching,
one you have to
That's the
choose?
question here, my dear friend.
Okay.
Yeah, it said that he's the greatest example.
That is the focus he wants to
He's the
focus.
greatest example, all right?
Yes.
So it must be in word, must be in deed, must be in thought, okay?
Sure.
And then we learn that he's not sinless, okay? So in what sense is he the greatest? And if something were to be, if I were to do research, right? I were to do research and I find something wrong that he did or said, then what am I supposed to do with the Prophet? Am I supposed
No,
to
if you
follow
find, no, simple as that. If you find, according to your conclusion, this doesn't mean that he's wrong. But if you prove with evidence, solid evidence, that he is wrong or he has contradicting himself, I am prepared to leave Islam.
Yes.
I myself prepared to leave this fold of Islam. But here is a challenge. There is not a single fundamental teaching in Islam taught by the Prophet Muhammad that goes against the humanity as a whole. You may understand it wrongly. You may not desire it because naturally human beings always wants the easy way out. You know, they don't want to be always restricted to rules. So if he told you don't drink wine, oh no, this is not my religion. My friend, I said it earlier, he's from America, he said my religion is beer. I wanted to become a Muslim, but my religion is beer. I cannot abstain from drinking beer.
Yeah, go on.
This is my religion, guys, and he's talking like that. So, because of this restriction, you may see that the Prophet ﷺ, you know, is not fit for you. But as a challenge, I'm challenging again. If you can find any single teaching that contradicts, you know, you will not find anything in the Quran that contradicts itself. You will never find anything in the Quran that contradicts the hadith, the saying of the Prophet ﷺ. You may have something that you don't understand, need to clarify. You will find it explained somewhere else, either by the Quran or also by the hadith. So I hope this, and it's open. I encourage you to go to do the research
Yes.
in this area.
I would do.
I encourage you, and I would be more than happy to assist. I would be more than happy to assist and give you every way possible, you know, to achieve that result. Because at the end, Lincoln, you will become a Muslim.
Inshallah, I support it.
Right, before we move on to the next question, Lincoln, for your reference, you have a copy of the Quran. The challenge is there, chapter 4, verse 82. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ لَوْ كَانَ مِنْ عِنْدِ غَيْرِ اللَّهِ لَوَجَدُوا فِيهِ اخْتِلَافًا كَثِيرًا. He said, if this book was not from Allah, you will find inside the book many contradictions. The book, any book we are talking about, you cannot read any book from cover to cover without finding something illogical in it, except the Quran. If you find any part of the Quran contradicting any other part, then you have a second person who will join in leading Islam. That is me.
Oh, okay.
You bring me any part that is contradicting the other part, then we will come to the conclusion that this is a definite contradiction. I will leave.
Okay, now we will move on to the next question. Maybe from this side. Belinda, regular participant and our regular, raising
Sister
questions.
Teresa also
Yes,
used
Sister
to
Teresa
ask
also.
many questions before.
She seems to be today maybe.
I'm not sure if I should wait till the third lecture. I have a question about Jesus.
Yes.
Can I assume that he was refused entry into paradise because he did not preach according to Allah's will?
No, can you repeat the question, please?
Oh.
Maybe you rephrase your question.
No, I did not hear it well.
Can I just assume that Jesus was refused entry to Allah's paradise after his death because he did not preach according to Allah's will?
You see, first of all, there is a mistake in your question itself, according to our belief. Because you said after his death. First, we don't believe that he dies. This is number one. And this we will explain it. I'll explain it in my lecture, inshallah. So, refuse to enter Allah's paradise. What do you mean, refuse to enter Allah's paradise?
Because he was not a Muslim.
Okay, now we got it.
That is okay.
Because you don't see him as a Muslim, right?
Okay. You see, sister, I will again explain something very briefly for those non-Muslims who are here also to refresh your memory.
Go fully to the question first.
Okay.
And then, inshallah, we will deal with it. Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's okay.
All right.
No, she basically thinks that Jesus is Christian, so how did he get into paradise?
Yes, I understand. Thank you so much. It's very, very logical conclusion. First of all, we believe that all the messengers, all the prophets, all the Chinese, all the Indians, not including means the Indian and the animals. No, I mean, even the animals and the planets and everything that exists is a Muslim. Can you imagine? Can you believe that? The sun is a Muslim. Sun. The moon is a Muslim. The trees, the snakes, the monkeys, everything that exists is a Muslim. Why? Because a Muslim is what? What's the definition of the word Muslim? A Muslim is anything, any person that submits itself, obey the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to do so for human beings with sincerity and in peace. That's the definition of a Muslim. Now let's go to the Bible quickly. The Bible in the Gospel of John, chapter number 5, verse number 30. Jesus Christ said, I can of my own self do nothing. As I hear from who? Now I'm asking, hear from who? From God. As I hear, I judge. And my judgment is just. Because here Jesus basically is saying, I am a Muslim. Because I seek not my own will, but the will of my Father who sent me. Anyone in any language say, I follow not my will, but the will of God, is a Muslim.